Hey, welcome back to Diode Press. I'm Graham. So if you've been following along with some of my other videos, you might have seen me mention my Kelsey letterpress. So I'm working on a set of small relief prints that I'm going to be printing on the letterpress, probably in the next few weeks. The problem is I haven't used it since I moved it from my last studio to here. And at my old studio I had it permanently mounted to a table, but here I need to figure out some way to mount it. So I want to be able to mount it securely, but also be able to kind of move it out of the way when I'm not using it, because I am kind of cramped on space. So this is going to be a really simple mounting solution, so hopefully if you have a similar press it might work for you. And also let me know down in the comments if you do use a similar type of press, or tag me on Instagram or Facebook if you post up a photo. I'd kind of love to see your setup. So let's just jump right into the video. So the materials you need are very basic. First off, a board as long as your work surface, and wide enough to add some stability to the press. You'll need a clamp that opens up enough to fit the height of the board plus to clamp over the desk. 4 wing nuts or just regular nuts, carriage bolts and washers, and some foam strips to protect the table. You'll also need a 4-inch T-plate. Obviously the size of the hardware is going to vary depending on your work surface. I first position the board on my desk, and then find a position where the press feels good and mark the mounting holes. I drill the 4 pilot holes and then drill the 1/4-inch bolt holes. Here I want the head of the carriage bolts to be countersunk into the wood, but I realized I didn't have the right bit for this, and honestly I wasn't going to go to the hardware store another time. But I do have a Dremel and a sanding drum, so I may do with that. To lock the carriage bolts into the wood, I use a washer and a wing nut and then tighten it down until the bolt is set into the back of the wood. Next I use the T-plate and pre-drill and screw it to the end of the board. Then I mark where the bottom of the desk meets the back of the bracket. I then bend this piece at the line. And at this point we're almost done. I use the adhesive foam strips on the bottom to cover the bolts and a few more to spread the pressure out evenly. Then I put a few layers of white paint and then a few layers of gel medium over that. I was thinking this way I can tell if I get ink on it and it's easy enough to clean up. Also, a pretty obvious quick tip, tape up the threads before you do your painting. It'll make it much easier to put the wing nuts on later. And finally I drop the press onto the bolts and secure it down with the washers and the wing nuts. So as you can see, the bent bracket locks to the back of the desk, and then the small clamp holds it from the front. And here it is, completely stable and secure with no movement. I think it came out looking pretty good too. And so that's all there is to it. After I got all put together, I realized with the foam pads and the wide board, you almost don't need the clamp in the front or the bracket in the back. It's really pretty stable just on the board. But I think this way it'll really lock it in place. Alright, so now I'm ready to get back to working on the engravings and get ready for printing. So hopefully this video will help if you have a similar press or this kind of situation. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit the thumbs up if this video was helpful. And I'll be back soon with a new one. Thanks.